Before I begin the video, I'd like to thank these lovely top tier Patreons for financially supporting my channel, Boovie Christian and Hot Dark Coca 189. Your support is extremely generous. Now on to the video. I fell off. Sonic Movie 3 is dropping in less than 2 months, and instead of playing the ever-living crap out of Sonic X Shadow Generations, I wanted to make a follow-up to my Sonic Movie 3 Should Be the Last One video. A very divisive video at best. Just because they confirmed another trilogy doesn't mean I can't have the opinion of Sonic Movie 3 being the last one, to which quite a lot of people actually agreed with me. I think we as Sonic fans forget that the movies are not the games. They're special, and if we had endless amount of movies, it would lose its charm. It's like in Minecraft how diamonds are rare and iron is more common. You don't really bat an eye at iron after you've made your iron farm, but diamonds you still collect because they're still rare. That's just a silly little analogy. And besides, I'd rather have endless Sonic games that give us lore accurate characters and not some random rebrand than endless Sonic movies. And I think that's mostly because I think a bad game that's replayable is better than a bad movie that's rewatchable. On top of that, they are being put in front of a much larger audience than if they just did video games. If the movies fumble, boy, that would be embarrassing as hell. Besides, you can't mod movies. Yet. But yeah, regardless of my opinions, they are making more Sonic movies. Do I have faith that they'll be peak cinema? No, not really. Expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. Thank you, Zendaya. Look, excuse me if I don't have faith that another trilogy would do well, and it's not like I'm against the idea, I just don't think they can pull it off. It's why I'd rather have a good Sonic trilogy that we can look back on, rather than get a new trilogy and hope that it's better. And by the look of things, I think we're on the right track to just keeping this as a perfect trilogy. So Ethan, I hear you asking, you seem to have an idea of how you would handle the next Sonic trilogy. What would you do? Were you not paying attention or something? I don't want a new trilogy. What makes you think I know how to make the next trilogy? That's where I turn to you, the viewers of the channel, who left many comments about how they would handle the Sonic trilogy or just Sonic Movie 4 in general. And before you ask, why don't you make a video on your predictions for Sonic Movie 3?
Where's the fun in that?
So with that being said, buckle in as we read some comments about how some people would want to handle Sonic Movie 4 or the next trilogy going forward. Let's start with the one that a lot of people have been saying. We need an adaptation of Sonic CD so that way they can introduce Amy and Metal Sonic. Now, I don't know much about the story in Sonic CD, I'm gonna keep it real, but I know it has something to do with like time stones and a giant robot death egg strapped to the planet, and how still after 20-ish years we don't have a playable version of this opening cutscene. I don't know if people legit want an adaptation of CD or just say they want it so that way we can get Amy and Metal. I guess it could be a way of getting Sonic off-world instead of being on Earth, to be honest. So I would be interested if they did take that route. I actually didn't see any comments related to this. Sonic Heroes makes sense as like a finale because it shows off all of Sonic's friends. And if we're setting up Metal as the big overarching villain of the next trilogy, it would make sense given they all fight Metal Overlord. That's all I'll say on that. I'm not super educated on the Sonic Heroes story. I would actually be down to see a Sonic 06 movie. I had to think really long and hard about it. Like, why would you adapt the Sonic 06 story? But when I thought a little harder about it, I mean, if you like tweak a few elements, it actually could work. Like, sure, there would need to be a lot of reworks, but it would be nice to see Blaze, Silver, and Mephiles on the big screen. I mean, that would genuinely go really hard. They could also rework Sonic and Elise's relationship, where instead of this, they could just be good friends. I mean, come on, it's 2024. A guy and a girl can just be friends without needing it to be that. Like, it's not impossible. A majority of my friends are female, so something like this can happen here. Okay, listen, I'm a die-hard Unleashed fan. No one even comes close. If they ever ported Sonic Unleashed to PC, they better not pull up the rewriting bullsquid that they did with Gens. Like, I will riot if they do that. If you had to make any kind of change to Sonic Unleashed, just have the option to turn off lives and maybe turn off the Werehog battle music. But that's it. Anyways, coming back, even I would want an Unleashed movie. I just think it would weird people out for Sonic to turn into the Werehog on the big screen. It was weird back then, and people still think it's weird to this day, even though I personally don't mind it. And honestly, this story works better as a game. A full-length movie wouldn't really do this justice, to be honest. And really, Unleashed feels like its own separate story. Like, I know it's still a part of the canon, but it's just to me, a really good story, like, by itself. I did hear that there was a comic adaptation that includes Sonic the Hedgehog, which I actually never got to read, because I think it's like in the Archie comics, and if I ever did get to read that, that'd be pretty cool. So there is that, but otherwise, I just don't think an Unleashed adaptation is really necessary. And can I just go a little off topic here? I really don't want them to just adapt every single Sonic game. Like, we don't need a Sonic Generations adaptation, we don't need a Forces adaptation, or Black Knight, or Secret. We don't really need any of those games. I want the movies to stand out on their own. They can take inspiration and elements from the games, but don't try and recreate it one-to-one. It's why I'm really excited for Sonic Movie 3. They are taking Shadow's backstory and adapting it in a way where it fits within the Sonic cinematic universe. That's incredible, because now I don't know what to expect. I don't know if they're gonna bring in the Bio Lizard. I don't know if they're gonna like recreate scenes from City Escape. Like, there's just a lot of unknown, and I don't have to know the adventure story to like be able to predict everything that's gonna happen in this movie. There's a level of unpredictability in these movies, and that's what I want. I don't want to just go watch a movie that I already know what's going to happen because I've seen the games. Here, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I'm so excited for that. But yeah, a mini rant over. Alright, if you really want to continue the Sonic movies, they should really just pull a Transformers 1 and make the whole animated movie. And can I just glaze this movie real quick? Oh my god, please watch this movie. It isn't peak cinema, but the movie single-handedly made me give a crap about the lore of Transformers. It's pretty funny. The characters are well written, I think. The action is, oh my god, it's so freaking good. The Michael Bay movies were definitely incredible. It's really ahead of its time. I mean, look at the CGI, man. But this right here made me care about Optimus Prime and Megatron and their friendship turned rivalry. I think a fully animated Sonic movie can give us everything from Sonic's friends to a beautiful rendition of Sonic's world. And the story can be simple. Eggman is capturing critters to power his robots and searching for the Chaos Emeralds, and Sonic has to beat them. A pretty simple synopsis, yes, but just thinking about it feels like such a dream. You already know they are going to do this till the day Sonic dies, and maybe even past that. They said they want this to be like Avengers or something like that. I think that means we will at least get the Sonic X. Do we really need a Sonic X movie? We should get a Sonic Labyrinth movie! What? Wait, didn't we technically get that in Sonic Movie 2? Nah, I think a Sonic Eraser film would be better. What? We should get a Shadow the Hedgehog show like Knuckles, and Shadow just says damn and damn it every time. You see, now that's $1 billion idea right there. I wouldn't want to see a fan reaction to a live action Rouge. Oh dear god. Now, I want to highlight some standout comments that I just want to dive a little deeper into. Spin Speed, the 9GM username person, says, I do agree with your points. I don't want the Sonic movie's legacy to be ruined, but I do think a second trilogy could work. The fourth film could be about Metal Sonic and Amy, and then we could have a Blaze movie where Earth and Sonic's world combined, and then we can get a Sonic 06 movie to end it. I don't think Sonic and friends will leave Earth. I just don't think that would work with this version of the characters. But who knows, a CGI trilogy could work. You know what? This isn't too bad of an idea, actually, having it structured like this, but we would need to find another way of introducing all of Sonic's friends, because I know a lot of people want that, which is why I can't think of any other game other than Heroes to do so. But I do like this idea. Jake the Hedgehog M1X. I was thinking about this whole thing before, and the fact that you fear that maybe the Sonic movies will lose their quality and become less good over time is a fair concern, and I can see where you're coming from, and understandably so, but however, there's a massive however, there are some rare occasions and examples that a movie series or movie trilogy did in fact manage to sustain to consistency and quality in a long run, and the best example I can give you is the Toy Story trilogy. The Toy Story movies were really consistent with their quality in the long run, although we have to wait to see how Toy Story 5 turns out, and this comment might age like milk. A better example I can give to you is the Harry Potter trilogy, started in 2001 and ended in 2011. So 10 years, it's still a decently long run with 8 movies total, and surprisingly the trilogy managed to maintain its consistency and quality. more or less, in their long run and ended with a satisfying conclusion. And all the movies relatively received well too, and it built its own legacy. So the Sonic movies could end up like the Harry Potter trilogy, consistently releasing good movies in their own long runs and end with a satisfying conclusion. Not to mention, Paramount is basically a more consistent studio too, compared to the likes of DreamWorks, which is notorious for being inconsistent as hell, Illumination, and Disney, etc. Paramount has been more consistent than them, so I would say it's possible. We just have to wait and see. But it's not impossible. But I still don't want it to end just with the third movie. Honestly, yeah, I agree. If they can pull up a Harry Potter style series, that would be the best case scenario, as I did watch the whole Harry Potter series, and while some parts of it dragged, it was really freaking good. I kind of want to rewatch the Harry Potter series now. RBX Official says, while I feel like Sonic Movie 3 isn't going to be the end of this cinematic universe, we could see a fourth movie. I may not agree with your opinions, but I can kind of see some valid points in your argument. Because not gonna lie, in my opinion, they should have made the classic series from Sonic 1 to 3 as a movie instead of just diving into the modern era with Shadow, since they skipped through Sonic Adventure 1 and jumped into Sonic Adventure 2. While I can see where you're coming from, I can kind of understand why they dived straight into the modern era. It's the most prominent and familiar era in the public's eyes. It would be like for the Mario movie, they did a Mario vs. Donkey Kong because that's kind of how Mario started. I feel like it would be a slow burn if we just introduced like the classic Sonic games and then all of a sudden we go to the modern era. Assuming I'm understanding your comment correctly. No, I'm not. You're saying that Sonic 1 through 3 should have been one movie, and then the next movie could have been the modern era, which I guess could make sense. You would be able to combine this movie of Sonic and Tails, and then Knuckles getting tricked into the Master Emerald. Though I think personally, to me, I think the way they handled the Knuckles getting tricked scene in the second movie was probably the best way they could have done it. I can't think of any other way they would have been able to do it. And in terms of like the modern era, I think it's great that they're adapting Shadow's story, because I can't really think of like anything good that you would adapt in Sonic Adventure 1, which probably sounds crazy. I know Sonic Adventure 1 has a pretty good story with like chaos, and then you got perfect chaos and like the emeralds and all that stuff. Maybe I'm looking too deep into this comment, I don't know, or maybe I'm not fully understanding it. To make a long story short, I think the way that they're handling it right now is really good, but I like the way you're thinking here, is what I'm trying to say. Page Turner 5713 says, "Hi, it's very nice to meet you, Mr. Ethan. Hope you're doing well. I've studied the pattern of each movie, and if or when they make a fourth movie, my hypothesis is that it may be about Silver the Hedgehog. The reason for this hypothesis is because of the order I noticed the movies are going into. The first movie is based on the first game, but different take of Sonic the Hedgehog being raised by an owl and chased by the echidnas. The second movie is based on the second Sonic the Hedgehog game and Sonic and Knuckles game. The third movie, of course, is Shadow, that is basically a snippet of Sonic Adventure 2, so the next movie has to feature a snippet of the biggest platformer game after Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic 06. Here was the story I formulated for Silver's story. Silver the Hedgehog is seeking Sonic the Hedgehog in order to save Sonic's timeline and his. They introduced a time eater that is wiping up their world, as well as other existing worlds as they know it. They both form a kinship, and they both stop the time eater. Sonic and Silver will need to wield hyperform to stop this, so they both talk to Knuckles about the Master/Super Emeralds, thus saving time and everything and everyone from disappearing. The way it's going, that in regard to the hypothesis I told you, I figured that Silver the Hedgehog will be in movie 4. It will focus on time. So my next hypothesis is that movie 5 will focus on space and dimension, aka Blaze the Cat, and somehow Eggman Nega. So in turn, the last and final chapter of the movie will be about saving the universe, which will feature Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Silver, and Blaze the Cat all coming together to stop this universal threat from threatening their planets, the human world, their world, and every other living being in their world. Wow. That was a lot, and I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I like this one, not because it's completely outlandish, but because it's ambitious. I mean, it sounds crazy, and while there are some things I don't agree with, like the time eater's existence, it sounds weirdly feasible to me existing. I mean, Sonic is no stranger to crazy stories and whatnot, but do I really think they would pull something like this in the Sonic movies? I'm not entirely sure. Irregardless, I think this fan theory is interesting because for me, I'm more tame. Like, I don't think they're gonna be able to pull off something crazy. Heck, I don't even think they're gonna pull off the next trilogy. But this guy over here, he's going full ambitious. He has like his heart out all over in the comment section just saying how he would want the next trilogy to be. And it's really fascinating to see this kind of viewpoint. And it's honestly why I was really happy to make this video, because it was so interesting to just see the many diverse and different opinions on how people wanted the next trilogy to be handled. Because for someone like me who doesn't want the next trilogy, there are so many people who do and have so many dreams and ambitions on how they would want the next movie to be. And I can't help but just not respect that. So kudos to this guy for being super ambitious about how the movies would be, even if I think they probably won't be able to pull this off. So what do I want in the next trilogy after reading so many opinions? If I had to, this is what I would want. Sonic Movie 4 covers Sonic CD to introduce Metal and Amy, and whatever the hell happens in that story happens. Maybe they go off-world, I guess. Sonic Movie 5 covers Heroes to introduce Sonic's larger cast of friends and have them all fight Neo Metal Sonic or Metal Overlord. Sonic Movie 6 would cover Sonic 06, which is honestly kind of fitting, and it introduces Blaze and Silver, and they have one grand finale against Mephiles. On top of that, they can have spin-off shows to explore the deeper world of Sonic, assuming we don't get another Knuckles show. But if I really had to decide, they gotta pull a Transformers one with good marketing. I mean, come on, please watch this movie. It's too good to fail, man. So that's my mess of a synopsis of how I and many others would want to make the next trilogy. It's kind of all over the place, I know. And like I said before, I don't really want another trilogy, but if I really had to, this is kind of what I would do. You can either agree or disagree. All opinions are valid here. I gotta be like completely honest with you guys. This is like the second time I had to redo these lines because my audio was like completely messed up. Like my mic was just way too loud and I was too stupid to figure out how to like adjust the audio and make it sound better. And I'm like a, what do they call it, an audiophile, or like I'm just like super nitpicky when it comes to audio. So I just want to make sure like everything is good. But yeah, my voice is tired. Also, I am working on a special video that I like. It's a Sonic fan game that I really want to gush about. And then I think for the future Sonic videos that I have on my channel, I want to bring back the Is It Wholesome series, which is a type of series on my channel that older fans would probably know about, where I pretty much just talk about like random topics and what they mean to me, and I want to do all 4 of the Sonic Boost titles. So I'm really hoping that's something you guys are looking forward to. Gosh, I am tired, man. Like, holy, this video was pretty difficult to make, so you better like and subscribe. If you made it to the end of the video, like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you thought this video was interesting, I think you'll enjoy my last video on why I think Sonic X Shadow Generations gives me hope for the franchise. Stay safe, stay wholesome, and don't forget to always be creative.